What's up, my TV besties? Welcome and welcome back to another recap with your girl. Sit back, relax, get your smoke, get your drink. Y'all got to get comfortable. We're about to go ahead and talk about marriage at first sight. This is like episode 9 of partying ways. So we have basically people parting ways and people partying while people was parting ways. Yeah, that's what we're gonna go with. So, y'all, I hope y'all ready. Go ahead, get in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and like this video. Y'all, come on, hit me the thumbs up. We gotta get this video pushed out to as many people as possible. And I know you want to support your girl, because that's what y'all do. Send me the love again. So y'all, I'm good on all the couples. I'm good except for two. And I think we already know what that two gonna be. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into this. Let's go to get into Nicole and Chris, who again, they really just really on some good stuff. Things are working out. They is having sex. They had their flamingo party, which was a very cute thing that, Nicole came up with, and Chris. I love that it was kind of like it was a test for him, and it kind of worked out in his favor. And so I'm proud. Go ahead, Chris, for standing in your own, even if it's down to a measly old t-shirt. He wasn't really feeling the whole, even though it went with the theme, and apparently the people liked it, their guests liked it, his friends, her friends, but hey, he wasn't with it. He was able to stick to, however how he felt. Because, she was you don't have to, no pressure. Which I was kind of okay, is she really saying no pressure? But when she really kind of more explained, it was basically at the end of the day, that strong personality thing. And that's, of course, is the main thing I guess we can say is in regards to their relationship is her strong personality and him being such a passive person, and then kind of a being able to kind of, I guess, be railroad over or whatnot in his other relationships. She obviously want to make sure that doesn't happen, and she obviously wants him to, you know, stand in his own or whatever, whatnot, especially because of her such opinion and everything. And even, as they were having their conversations, with, each other's friends, that of course, that was, a thing. And her friends are yeah, don't let her bully you. And I'm Lord, is it that bad, Nicole? Is it something that we really don't know? So I wonder if that's possibly gonna come up, eventually, at some particular time. So that's really all I got on them. So let me see who else we good on, y'all. Yes, we are actually good on where Kirsten and Arris are, where they're at. I love the fact that they're with their housewarming, party thing. They decided to have married couples around, just to as well kind of I think that, of course, they were looking to get more stuff from them as married couples or whatever or whatnot, but they were nah, let's figure y'all out. What y'all doing? What y'all not doing? Y'all ain't kissing yet? Da da da. And I think it's yeah, yes, I love I wonder, I wish that well, I mean, obviously we don't really know because editing is whatever, but some of the stuff that the couples had said in their interviews, I hope that they were able to say that or whatever whatnot to them, or that they did say it to them. I think one of the guys had said, I can't remember whose friend it was saying, because she was saying she's not a good kisser, and he was she needs to let him determine that. And I'm bruh, exactly. So it's kind of you want Shaquille. Did I call him Arris, y'all? I'm just realizing that. Did I? Y'all? Okay, it's all right. I'm thinking like Shaquille should just like, kind of like take that lead and like just kind of like go for it anyway. And I feel like maybe he said he has. Maybe he's gotten rejected. I don't even know, but I'm I feel like at the end of the day, like it's gonna be kind of like on her. But at the same time, something has to be like kind of like building or whatever or whatnot. Cause like she's like rubbing all on his head when they had the meetup. He's talking about that how like of course she wasn't attracted to it at first. Now she loves it, and I'm just like, so what we waiting on? Like, so like, what's the problem? Because that's like. All right, so let me check in with the notes. Let me check in with the notes, make sure we good, y'all. One little thing that I think that I want to add a note on or whatever, and it's not even like with her, because it's been like, I think Arris might have said something too or whatever at their meetup, is how these, like, and I get it, like everybody isn't, like, unfortunately isn't in that mindset of we're going to be married like forever. This is our only time. Everybody's kind of like, we'll see how things work or whatever or whatnot. And I think one of the things that what she had said, oh yeah, basically, I think like his friends had kind of like asked her about like, did they feel like, she could be with Shaquille for like the rest of her life or whatever or whatnot. And I think, and of course I think she said, no, she didn't know yet, which is kind of like cool, but it's kind of like, why not say it like in like a different kind of way to like enforce some type of positive notion in regards to it, because you are marrying to be married once, right? So why not put that forth, that effort into, I don't know, I mean, hey, maybe it's just in the moment, just answering, just, but I don't know, like, because I'm trying to think like what would I have said like in that moment, like if I was her. So it's like, I'm basically I'm in this to be married for like married forever. So I'm want to work up to that aspect of actually physically wanting to be with him for the rest of my life or his life. You get, did that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Y'all make sure y'all talk to me down in the comments down below. Again, let me know about y'all thoughts and comments on some of these couples. And if you hear my baby hollering in the background, we're going to try to ignore that. It might be kind of faint, or you might not even hear it at all. Matter of fact, I might need to do like a little check-in. I'd be like, pause. Now, where were we? So, yeah. Shaquille and Kirsten. So that's my only thing on, like, not even just on them, but like just anybody who gets into this, their aspect or their mindset about marriage or being in the marriage or whatever or whatnot. Or I guess like, because at the end of the day you have the option to marry or get divorced, people have that weighing, I don't want to say weighing on them, but it's kind of like, oh, well, I do have that option if I feel like, oh, well, this is not going to work. Instead of like, yeah, well, either way, like don't let 90 days make you feel like whether you want to see if you can want to make it work or not, because you can decide that down the line or whatever or whatnot. 90 days is like nothing to get to know somebody or whatever whatnot, especially when sometimes people usually wait like a year, 2 years, longer than that or whatever whatnot. I mean, by choice. I mean, who's to say when you actually know somebody? But I think in 90 days, like, come on. So we're gonna move on. Gina and Clint, right? Gina and Clint are, it seems like, especially at the meetup, they're saying that they're really doing good. Like, Gina did decide, to move in. She, was able to understand some of, Pastor Cal's, advice and his standpoint on some things. And so she moved in, even though they're gonna live separate rooms or whatever or whatnot. And I'm like, okay, that's not, forcing any of her with any intimacy. But hey, like Clint was like, I'll take what I can get at this point. And I'm like, hey, at this point, maybe I need to shut up and take what I can get, because at least she moved in, because that's closer than her living in wherever. I don't know. For all I know, they probably lived in the building that they probably actually live in, or whatever, or whatnot, which is crazy. They live in actually the same building. So, their party seemed to have went well as well. Like, it was cute or whatever. What was their theme? I'm saying it's cute. Like, and I don't even like remember their theme. So how cute really was it, Ash? Like, you really tried to go for that one. Like, but that's it. I ain't gonna push because I ain't really got nothing for them. Like, even with their, advice and talking or whatever, whatnot, with, each other's friends or whatnot. I feel like everybody's friends was, in this aspect, was pretty much very supportive and, the opposite, advice, because they sit with, the other person, their spouse's friend or family member or whatever or whatnot. So let's get on down to the nitty gritty of where my mind where what's really nerve wracking me, because why do you go to this particular person for advice about your marriage and relationship when they don't have, like she said, have no reason to invest in your relationship, which is kind of like a little contradicting, because why are we sitting here having a conversation and me giving you advice about your marriage if I'm not investing in this relationship? Yeah. I'm gonna let that sit with y'all. But yes, y'all. So old Arris goes to this. What's her name? I don't even care enough to even say her name, but she about on my nerves at this point, and I feel like it's given like, how many pageant girls have you been around to know like how they act and they're basically their persona? Because I've never been around, you know who what I've been around some very articulate people, and that includes some people of different nationality. Well, I ain't gonna say different nationalities, but of different backgrounds, as what I'll say. Well, be nice about it, right? So, and I've been around some people with some different backgrounds who don't, whew, the things that come out of their mouth. So, who like this whole like Jasmine said, she don't know me for her to basically call me fake. And yet again, she's saying it out loud. I think she's fake that or not because you want her to answer how you want her to answer. No, she's giving that man grace, and don't be mad because she knows how to articulate her words and her feelings without necessarily lashing out. And I'm not saying her being hurt or whatever is a lash out, because I get it, because I do feel like there is some hurt behind it, especially when they were at the meetup and they were talking about it. And which she did talk about that on, the after show, after party. We're gonna talk about that, y'all. We're gonna talk about that. Ooh, we gotta talk about that too. So I just feel like, who are you to kind of like tell her how to respond or what to say or what, like you, she wants to be right about this relationship so bad, and I feel like it's just not helping. It's not helping, and I'm like, why would you? Ugh. But I was surprised, like the fact that she like told his friends that they like weren't having sex or whatever or whatnot. I wanted to like hear what they had to say, about that. Unfortunately, we didn't get that part, but that would have been very, interesting to hear and to see. Like, I need y'all to lifetime like get this together, because y'all not y'all got to be getting some of the right stuff. Y'all not getting everything that y'all supposed to give. Like, come on, stop playing with us. But overall, I do wonder how much influence his cousin does have over this relationship, because of the fact that he keeps going to her, and it's like, how she feels about this relationship, and then, him and, Jasmine and Arris having, I guess basically like the disagreement in regards to her being invited, to that house room, and in which, Fallon or whatever whatnot made the whole comment or whatever whatnot about she didn't want to go anyway because she didn't want to invest in it or whatever whatnot. But yet you're sitting here investing your time and your advice into my relationship right now. But girl, bye, boo. Anyway, so I wonder if that's like the fact that they can't, because he's saying, at their little housewarming that, she is a very important person in his life. And it's just like, but like your mom, like as well, like she liked Jasmine. And do y'all not like have a good relationship? Because why are you not going to her talking about like what? Ooh, it just, y'all, it makes me so mad. It just makes me so mad that he is going to her for this advice. Like, and she very well, because her reaction and like could be why things aren't progressing forward, so getting down to the last crazies of all crazies, right? So Dominique and McKinley. And I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and say that now. I am a bit biased after watching the after party, after show, or whatever or whatnot. But off top, I I want to say, and I'm still going to say that her age still plays a big factor in it. I stand on that. And even Pastor Cal had feelings about that, about her age or whatever, whatnot, and that basically she needed time. To find herself and, just to live life, a little bit more. Even Keisha felt like, girl, you are 20, like, I think it was Judge Lynn Tyler that had basically said something about what your age is, what your age is for, da da da, and how your 20s is about da da. And I was just like, if I had just seen this when I was this age, oh, how my 20s would have been so different, or whatever, whatnot, as far as my relationships, me having kids, like, man, I would have the things I could have been doing, the things I would have done. But it's okay. My path is my path or whatever or whatnot. But she decides ultimately, that she want, because Pastor Cal was like, all right, girl, like, stop playing with these words. Say what you want to say. Which, she was saying was hard for her to say, which, okay, I get it. Like, all right, whatever, cool. And basically, she wanted to get a divorce or whatever or whatnot. And ultimately where I stand at with it, I'm like, you give it, like, y'all just, I can't even get it out, y'all, but y'all know what I'm saying. Like, give it some more time. Give it a little bit more time or whatever or whatnot. Like, y'all are kind of just still getting into the flow of things, gonna know each other, whatever. Ultimately, McKinley's like, he didn't want a divorce or whatever or whatnot, but, cool or whatever, if that's what she wants. Like, I mean, what can he say? What can he do or whatever, whatnot. So I guess it gets really interesting when they go for the meet up or whatever, whatnot, with the other couples. And of course, they tell them, whatever, what's going on or whatever, whatnot. And in which it does sound like it is, a mutual, decision between them. And then at the same time, he says that he was blindsided by her, basically saying that she wanted a divorce or whatever or whatnot. So I'm like, okay, all right, whatnot. And, I did side with what's the name, that what Nicole, that she probably was going to, regret it or whatever or whatnot. But I guess shoot, the after party at the after party, basically Dominique was saying that basically it was a whole lot of just basically mixed stuff or whatever, whatnot. Because I did feel like McKinley made a point or whatever or whatnot in regards to basically, because Dominique basically told everybody, like, maybe in regards to, like, because who offered it? yeah, again, Nicole was like basically, hey, maybe you just want to take some time apart, revisit this, refresh or whatever, whatnot, under pressure or whatever or whatnot, which like, I hate this. Like, say what you mean and mean what you say. Don't let other people sway or make like your decision or whatever or whatnot. And she basically says maybe when she really didn't mean, maybe. And of course, Max in this, you like to go back and forth thing. And he was basically saying like, that's a young thing, the whole back and forth, her not really knowing what she wanted. And so, and I was just like, okay, like, was there more back and forth like before this or whatever or whatnot? Which Dominique kind of like addresses like for me or whatever or whatnot on the after party. And she's like, well, basically there, I guess there have been previous conversations where basically he was hinting as well that basically he wanted a divorce too. That's what she was saying. She said that one. Also that she did text him or whatever after the fact to kind of like, I guess maybe give her more time to think about it, whatever. And then he's like, oh, like, I'm good. So, I don't know, for to him that was like a back and forth kind of thing, and like he was just over it, or just like I don't know. She's just really just painted this picture of, McKinley, like he's not all what it seems. And hey, man, I'm trying to get a girl some grace, because y'all know I've been sticking it to her. I've been sticking it to her this entire season, or whatever or whatnot. And I think still either way, like she needs some more time still to grow or whatever or whatnot. And as well, like, understand like things gonna take work, especially a marriage. Like, you can easily just bow out of a relationship or whatever, whatnot. But these days, people, like, when they get into relationships, like, they basically get into common law. Is that what they call it, common law? Or no, what is it? What do they call it? When you kind of like, yeah, I think it's like common law marriage. You've been with somebody living together so long, it's considered like a common law. Does that make sense? Am I saying that right? I feel like y'all know I feel like y'all gonna know what I mean when, yeah. Y'all let me know. I know y'all gonna correct me in the comments. I know y'all gonna let me know. So that's where we at, y'all. We already down one couple. We got 4 left. And which, even though, Gina and Clint are seen to be doing so well, clearly we're going to see these couples interact together again, because we're going to see Clint and Dominique kiss each other. So clearly, maybe things are not clearly going to work out between Clint and Gina after all. This is going to be very interesting. So maybe Clint is the guy that she was looking for. He's more stable, he's older, he's fun and adventurous. So oh my God, I don't know why I'm trying to say gold digging vibes, but that's when I'm just going to shut up, y'all, and say I will see y'all at the next one. We're going to see what just happens next week, okay? I'm anxious to see what's next. Peace.